Oh, hi, Mosette.
So the Seahawks are playing the Colts this Sunday, right?
That's right.
Well, I guess I have good news and bad news then.
Oh, really? What's the good news?
Don't you know what the Colts name stands for?
No.
Count on losing this Sunday!
Hey! That's good. Wait a minute. What's the bad news then?
The Rams are still in first place!
And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mosette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mosette, and welcome to episode 512 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show as your Seattle Seahawks get ready to take on the Indianapolis Colts, or as I call them, count on losing this Sunday. Let's meet the posse for this episode. First, the yin to my yang, Matt from merry old England. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you, sir?
I'm feeling a little bit claustrophobic in this get up this evening. It's a little bit crowded in here.
It's a little crowded, little elbow room. You need to scoot over a little bit.
Thanks. I'll do that. Hey, your hand.
Someone else who needs to scoot over a little bit, but is always here, and that is our news hound, Shadowhawk Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'd be doing better if Matt wasn't hogging the seat over here.
I know. Scoot over, dude.
I'll have you know I've lost 40 pounds. Shut up.
Well, be careful, because if he scoots over too much, he will lose another chair, and we can't have that.
That's how he lost 40 pounds. He had to buy a new chair. That's their money
I know,
over there.
right? And a man who
bastard.
never needs much room, and that is Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hello, sir.
How are you this evening?
I'll let you know after trivia.
All right, fair enough. We have quite an unbelievably historic show tonight. First off, in the guest seat for this show, the artist of the weekly Game Buzz comics you see every week on the Facebook page and so many other places. Direct from sunny California, making his 5th appearance on the show, Mike Pascale. Hi, Mike.
Hey there, how you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
All right. I found out that when you live in California and both of the California teams are playing each other on Thursday, that you get to watch the Seahawks on Sunday.
Yay!
Woo-hoo.
Thank you, California teams.
Yeah, unfortunately we didn't win, but at least I got to watch it.
At least you got to watch it. And you'll hopefully be able to watch it this week, although some of us may not, but that's another story. And for the first time ever on this show, we have a very special guest, a very dear friend of mine for, we think, 25 years, maybe longer. Diehard Colts fan, season ticket holder, and dear friend of mine. Please welcome to the show, Jason Starr. Hi, Jason.
Cool. Welcome.
What's
Jason.
up, fellas?
How's it going, Jason?
Going very well.
Good.
I'm hoping for back-to-back wins.
There you go. See? There's hope. He's got hope.
There's always hope.
There's always hope.
There's never results.
I
told the guys that you know me for a long time, and you've probably seen like some embarrassing stuff over the years.
The Rick Meyer poster incident was classic.
I told the guys there's this incident with a poster he's going to bring up. And Jason, I'm not lying. I tell a story, and then we'll move on real quick. It's exactly 21 years ago to this day, because I looked it up to get the score right, and it was September 29th, 1996. I'm in my apartment watching the Seahawks, which I never got to see because before then, we didn't have DirecTV, we didn't have the thing. So they're on, and they're playing the former world champion Green Bay Packers in Seattle. And of course, you know where I'm going. Rick Meyer's the quarterback. Right? So, it's 24-10 at the end of the third quarter, starting the fourth. We're driving, and I turn to Jason. I'm like, all right, this is good. This is good. We score here. It's a 7-point game. Plenty of time left, right? And was it somebody's honking the horn. So they're driving, and Rick Meyer throws was it a fumble or an interception? I think it was an interception. Gilbert Brown, the fattest guy on the planet, takes 10 minutes to go from like the 20-yard line all the way down to score.
And we still can't catch him.
And I just reach over. I had this Rick Meyer poster, and I look at Jason. And I just reach over. I jump up, and with one swoop, I take that poster and I rip it off the wall and throw it in a garbage can in one swipe.
Hey, was that the same night you broke the insulated cup on the wooden
No,
handle of the chair?
that was a different night. That was when they were playing the Chiefs.
That was a different Seahawks game.
That was their Seahawks team. They were playing the Chiefs, and we had given up like 3 3rd and 3s by offsides on the defense. Or it was always a penalty on 3rd down in this drive. And after the 3rd one, I took this cup and threw it against the side.
Was Michael Bennett playing?
I was an angry young man. But yeah. So that was an angry young man. But anyway, I calmed down.
You said Jason's a lifelong Colts fan?
Oh, yes.
So you guys ever have any opposing bets or animosity or anything during any games?
No. Are you kidding? Because he's true blue. And I mean, true Colt blue for him. And, I respect that. And that's actually how we met. He was actually dating somebody that I worked with, and we started talking about sports. And that's really how it all started. And the next thing I know, Jason and I, every sporting event, every draft, every Super Bowl, every Pro Bowl, we'd be like hanging out and talking sports. So no, because I know he's a real fan through thick and thin. It doesn't matter that the team's struggling right now. That's
not even any good-natured bets like loser has to shave off an eyebrow or something.
Right? Yeah.
No way. I can't. I have too much status to do that around here. I can't be walking around and be like, what the hell happened to you?
And I would do too, because being a Hawks fan, everyone already knows that. So. Yeah, we were kind of nervous last couple years, like the first couple years of Wilson and Luck, because we're like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. That Super Bowl is going to show up. But, who knows? It's still possible. But, yeah, we both kind of know because, I don't like betting on my own team.
That's very cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, enough betting on those teams. Let's talk about what we got in this episode coming up. Michael Bolton.
Boys, let's get to it.
Yes, let's get to this. First quarter, we have news. Second quarter is a game recap. We have to go through the Titans game real quick. Then halftime, the best Seahawk themed play-along game on the internet. 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
I believe the reigning champ is...
Me.
Matt, yes.
Yay!
Bought a new trophy. Third quarter, weather, injuries, the numbers for all the info you need for the upcoming Colts game. And, of course, we'll talk to Jason more about it then in the third quarter. And the fourth quarter, we'll put it all together for predictions, game balls, and prognostications. Before we start, please like, share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook 12-man Facebook group, 12-man Fan Jam Show. We're on Twitter. We're on email. And before we start, a real quick shout-out.
Hey, can I do a shout-out? Shout out
to Jose Rodriguez, who won last year's challenge and is in the challenge this year, the prediction challenge. He is traveling up to Seattle from the game from California. Last time he saw Seattle, they blew a team out. So we're hoping Jose can go up there and get it done again. So
thank you, Jose.
Yes.
He's our secret weapon. We've sent him along.
Yeah.
We passed the hat around and got him up there for the game. All right. Let's get to the first quarter and news. Yes, the 12-man fan news report with news of the NFL worth mentioning, brought to you by this week's sponsor, the Drunken Loud 12s. Will, what you got for us?
Moses, I got to say, Odell Beckham Jr. is fast becoming one of my favorite items for potential news. He's not up to Johnny Manziel quite level just yet, but he's getting there.
Yeah, he is.
As most of you probably know, Odell Beckham Jr. caught a touchdown in the loss to the Eagles last Sunday, and then got down on all fours and lifted a leg to celebrate like a dog peeing.
Yeah.
As expected, he did get
class.
fined for that. And then, of course, the celebration penalty because, dude, come on. Anyway, he met with owner John Mara during this past week, and I got to say, it doesn't sound like he's gotten it yet. Because according to Pat Leonard of the New York Daily News, Beckham said that his only regret was that he drew a 15-yard penalty. Not for doing it, but that he got caught, that he got penalized for it.
Yeah.
And
I like that you said it, that he got caught. Like the national audience wouldn't notice that he did
He's
that.
in the
Nobody
end zone.
saw
He
it.
just scored. No one's gonna see it.
Well, I actually was watching Red Zone, and they started to show it and cut away. So,
Yeah.
that thing was on a 5-second delay, and some producer was screaming, cut to camera 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's 2 versions of Red Zone out there, and I'm pretty sure the one that Scott Hansen is on didn't show it until they got approval, and the other one showed it live.
Oh,
Yeah, I have the Scott Hansen one. That's the non-direct TV one.
Yeah, they showed it
Wow.
on ESPN. I saw it on the highlights.
Well, we
We
had a
saw it.
guy. You gotta remember, we had a guy who used the football to take a dump.
Yeah, Mr. Dougie
This
Fresh.
is true, and they didn't show that on the broadcast either.
So
Well,
you know.
I hear that since Odell did it at Philadelphia, that Michael Vick wanted to recruit him for his dog fights.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh, you guys are really sensitive over there about what you're allowed to see and hear on television, aren't you? Over here, we've had streakers, we've had, all sorts of different. The best one is when you catch a coach or a player swearing too close to the sideline microphones.
Oh yeah.
So across the middle, like in the middle of like tea time or whatever, or dinner time over here, and you just get this stop effing about or whatever, and it's like, okay.
that does happen on occasion here too. I remember a Broncos game when Josh McDaniels was coach, and they were filming him talking to the team on the sideline, saying, "All we're trying to do is win the mother game."
And the players are like, then why'd you draft Tebow?
Oh.
Ooh.
Poor
Actually, that
little
was
Tebow.
pre-Tebow. But
Ouch.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, Odell Beckham. You a big fan, Jason, of Odell? Jason.
Not really. He's a great football player, but the rest of his antics and all that pushing and shoving he did with Josh Norman just kind of turned me off.
Yeah, me too. Jason and I in the same fantasy league, by the way. What's your record, Jason?
I'm undefeated and defending champion.
Jeez.
Nice.
Jeez, I'm 1-2. So we'll move on from there. Will, what's your other story?
well, enough of the pissed off Giants front office here. Actually, the Thursday night game against the Bears and Packers had a bit of a milestone. This is the oldest active rivalry in the NFL.
Yes.
And the Packers, with their win Thursday night, took the series lead for the first time since 1933.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
That is surprising.
84 years ago, the Bears took the lead in their second game of the season, going 12-11-3. And since then, they've held the lead in the series until last night. And just to give you an idea of how far ahead Chicago was, since the Packers since Brett Favre starting for the Packers in 1992, the Packers have beaten the Bears 35 out of 46 times. And have done it 16 out of 20 times under Aaron Rodgers. So
Wow.
right now the series, the Packers lead the series 95-94 and 6 ties.
And
Wow.
I would never have guessed that. I love when I first started watching on DirecTV, like when I got the Sunday ticket, the one thing I loved was the Packers and Bears because they just don't like each other. And it doesn't make sense because in this era of free agency, but they don't, man. That's like to me the best rivalry in football. I'm sorry, but those two, they hate each other. It doesn't matter. They could be 2 6-10 teams. It doesn't matter. They hate each other.
They're going to
guys,
hate each other even more after that hit on Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Thing is, I
Right,
still
okay.
think the best part of that game was the lightning delay. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Jesus at me.
I was at football practice and my wife sent me a text I had to decipher. I didn't understand what she meant. She sent me a text that showed a picture of cheese, said cheese against, and then it had a picture of a bear, delayed because, and then she put a lightning bolt. And I was like,
You
like,
probably
well,
thought the
I was like, did they
Chargers?
bring the Chargers are there? What's going on?
The Bears and Chargers are having a wine and cheese party? What?
Yeah,
Your wife knows her emojis.
yeah, she does.
Jason, you're going to say something?
No, the other interesting thing I heard about the Bears and Packers rivalry was I think they were only separated in all those games by like a few points if you totaled up the total points over the years
Oh my God.
going into the game last night. I mean, like, it was like, for some reason, I want to say it's like 858 to 857. I mean, it was
Wow.
ridiculous.
That's crazy. Man, and they don't like each other. They're fun to watch when both of them aren't any good because they just beat each other up for 4 quarters. Like this is your Super Bowl. Man, that's crazy. Awesome stuff. Well, Will, thank you so much for the news.
You're welcome, sir.
And that'll end the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
All right, coming up on this episode of your 12-man Fan Jam show, lots of show left. How can you tell if you're a Colts fan? Halftime trivia, but coming up next, we look back at that game against the Titans quickly. We'll be right back after this.
And now, the 12-man Fan Jam show proudly presents Statsman Mark's Remarks.
Hey everybody, this is the Statsman with his remarks concerning the game against the Tennessee Titans in sweltering Nashville, where it was 110 on the field. Both teams were playing on it, and unfortunately for Seattle, it really affected the team. It's, I guess, maybe in different ways, along with everything else. And then as the first half, the offense was close in the first half, but the offense just missed out on some opportunities. And by the second half, when the offense had warmed up, the defense was clearly just sucking wind, and there just wasn't enough put together in time to get a win. No disgrace losing in Tennessee by any means, but you know, the way the season has gone, where on one hand you'd say, okay, losses in Green Bay and Tennessee, a win at home against the Niners. A lot of people maybe predicted that, but it's the way all this is developed, and again, how much we're struggling just to sustain any kind of momentum offensively. And the longer this goes on, the more trouble it's going to be, you know, for the team, and it just makes everything complicated.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Yes, welcome to the second quarter of episode 512 of your 12-man Fan Jam show. All right, gentlemen. Let's look back one more quick time at last week's game as the Seahawks fall in Tennessee to the Titans, 33-27. I want to start with this. I know it's a team game, and it was indeed a team loss on Sunday, but if you had to, and we'll start with Will, if you had to blame one side of the ball more than the other, who would you place more blame on in this game?
This is going to come off as a bit of a cop-out because I can't. Because what bothered me the most about the game was the amount of stupid mistakes, the amount of blown opportunities. And, you know, the first half, you had Russell Wilson sailing passes all over creation. In the second half, you had the defense doing their Keystone Cops routine on those long plays. This is a talented team that is severely underachieving right now, and they are just shooting themselves in the foot. Well, actually, higher up and more to the center line, now that I think about it. But they have got to cut out the nonsense.
Yeah, and I agree. 3 games to that. Matt, are you going to cop out on me? Or are you going to take a side?
I'm going to blame the defense just because I think that they were a little less disciplined. I mean, you can't have penalties like. I mean, how many first downs did Tennessee get on the back of penalties alone?
Yeah, too many.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I know I suppose part of me is sort of, I put on my Facebook, good news, the penalties are back, because you know, it's almost as if like all of a sudden we're going to start turning back into that team from 2013 where we just look at a ref and draw a flag. But I think that you can't be that undisciplined, and you can't have. I mean, you know, I know Sherman got that, you know, moment, the bloodlust or whatever that happens to him. I don't know what the hell it happens to him, but I don't know why the coaches don't seem to be able to get him to understand that if you're going to have a row with anyone on the field, the people wearing black and white are not the people to have the row with, because they're just not going to change their mind, mate.
No.
He's this close to getting ejected on that.
He really did. And Will's holding his fingers very, very close together, if you can't see that. Mike, what do you think? If you had to pick a side, offense or defense, who's to blame?
I think Will was dead on, but I'm going to be a team player, and I'm going to say the defense. Just because we put up plenty of points in the second half. We put up enough points to win if the defense had not had those penalties, not allowed those.
I agree with what he almost said. Yeah. I almost agree with most of what you said there, Mike. Dustin?
Yeah. I'm going to go a little bit contrarian here and say offense. And the reason why I say that is because they sputtered so bad in the first half. that it wore the defense out by halftime, so they could not play or perform in the second half when the offense finally got it going. If they could have at least done something somewhat that somewhat resembled a professional football team's offense in the first half, besides that last drive, our defense wouldn't have been so gassed, and they would have been able to perform throughout the league or throughout the game. Problem is, our defense is getting old. I mean, that's just the matter of what we're dealing with here. Fact
And
of
the weather
matter.
didn't help.
Yeah, weather
No.
didn't help, but they're getting old now, and they get worn out a lot easier than they were before. That's not the first time this year I looked at them and I was like, man, they're slowing down a little bit. So the offense has to step up to allow the defense. They have to help save the defense a little bit. It can't be all defense right now. The offense cannot take half a season to figure it out like they have in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually with Dustin on this. I think the inability of the offense to do anything in the first half, but go 3 and out, gas the defense in the second half. Now, it's a team loss. I think there's enough to go around on both sides. I agree, but for me, I felt like the offense could have helped out a little bit. And it's funny because they both kind of let them down in the first half. The offense kind of let us down because not only did they get anything done, they didn't help out the defense. In the second half, we needed the defense to help out the offense a little bit. They started getting their act together. Then the defense was too tired, or for whatever reason, they couldn't get their act going. So it was kind of a little bit of both. I agree, but I'm going to side with the offense a little bit. But I can see everyone else's points as well.
On a side note with that too, you have to blame whoever decided to only keep 7 defensive linemen as part of the issue too, because we've had 10 in a lot of the previous seasons. And so that rotation isn't what it should be. Those big guys get tired, and in the heat, they need more of a rest. So it's kind of a, like you said, team loss for sure.
Yeah.
Going back to cuts.
I do want to point out that I did mention last week that fatigue was going to be an issue, and I'm just going to say the coaches clearly didn't listen to our podcast last week. I'm sorry, they need to get back to listening to us.
What the hell is wrong with them?
I know.
Okay, Will, press the panic button, should we?
No.
Okay. Why not?
Well, for starters, our 2 losses have come in 2 tough road games against 2 teams. Packers team that plays very well at home and always has, and a Titans team that certainly looks like it's on the upswing.
Yeah.
The 49ers game was awful, but we got the win, and in the long run, that's what counts. And we're playing in a fairly weak division. The only team that looks like they have a shot of putting anything together at this point is the Rams. We still have time. Not much. I mean, I'm not saying, we can dilly-dally around for another month, but we're not in a bad place right now. And we've got the bye week coming up where we can rest some guys. And then after that, I've got a chance to go on a run. I'm not worried yet.
Yeah. Matt, what guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Rams wins. They're against the 49ers, and is it the Browns? Am I right?
Well,
they won 3, but I mean, I do think the Rams have got have got their shit together a little bit. I mean, I like some of their jet sweep stuff that they've been doing. That looked pretty cool. I think, and I love the fact that their head coach looks like Ronan Keating. I think that's also going to stand them in very good stead. But but he does. Have a look at it, people. I'm not even lying. I'm not even joking. Go and have a look at him. Compare him. And what I will say, Moses, this is a bit of a situation where, I was talking last week about we were a bit like a cartoon aeroplane where, they're trying to get the engine started and they keep trying to spin the propellers around. And the thing is I think this tradition now of having slow starts to a season is still as frustrating as it always has been. But I think I agree a little bit with Dustin. We're older now, we're wiser now, and we should be able to get this sort of show on the road a bit cleaner. It seems to me that one week we have our defense operating brilliantly and our offense, kind of in throw or catch, and then the following week we've got, Murray gashing, runs through us like you wouldn't believe, and our offense suddenly starts working. If we could only get both parts of our team working at the right pace at the right time, we might actually get going. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. Mike, are we panicking yet?
No. This is par for the course. I mean, how many times have we?
Yep, that's true.
I just keep hoping every year that I don't like getting the losses out of the way early. I'd rather go undefeated and then get a couple in, like maybe. Because it puts pressure on them.
Yeah.
Many games early, then they get in that we can't lose any more playoffs.
Dustin, panic?
No, I mean 2 years ago we didn't have a winning record until week 11. I don't know if people remember that or not, but we started the season 1 and 2, and then we'd win a couple, lose a couple, and we didn't actually have a starting record or winning record until week 11. Year before that, I think we were 3-1 to start the season, and then last year I think we were 2-2 to start. So it's pretty normal for us. I'm not panicking, but signs of decay are showing up, and they really need to. They did good with the draft this year as far as the secondary, but we got to look at it on the defensive line and some other places too coming up because the team is aging.
Yeah, it is. Jason, tell us what you know about the Titans. What are your thoughts on the Titans since they're in your division?
Well, they have really made a lot of improvement. I couldn't have imagined that Marcus Mariota would be as good as he is with them today, and just their commitment to the running game. I'm not even sure who they have down there as wide receiver right now, but every time you turn around, Mariota's throwing a touchdown from in the red zone. So they're definitely picked to win our division. It's just kind of so odd. Nobody really knows what to expect out of the division this year, and with Luck being out to start the season, a lot of people had picked the Colts to finish last or first, and there wasn't kind of a lot of a middle ground there.
Right.
And so, but they are definitely the tops in the division, and I think they beat Jacksonville and really kind of solidified their spot as the front runner. And I can't figure out what to make of Houston either.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but I definitely don't. I think going to Tennessee is not going to be a pretty sight. So losing down there is no shame, especially coming all the way across the country.
Well, and I'm glad you said the thing about the run, because I turned to Little Mo during that game, and I'm like, it was like the third quarter, and they weren't getting any. At the first half, they had 10 runs for 5 yards or something stupid like that, and they just kept pounding us. And I go, man, they are going to run on us come hell or high water, and they are committed to running that ball. And that's a great point, Jason, because man, they were committed against us when it wasn't, and all of a sudden you get a 70-yard touchdown run, or whatever. But they weren't at first running on us, and they did at the end with 2 really big runs. But
they probably have the best 1-2 combination of power backs in the league.
Yeah, they might.
And the other side of that is, Dennis, it's kind of like how many games did we watch with Ezra and James when he played for the Colts?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, he would just constantly get hit at the line of scrimmage and have 50 yards through the first 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter he'd have 75 yards because he just simply wore everybody out.
Yeah, we used to have with Sean Alexander. He called it drip, 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 and then all of a sudden the water would run.
Well, I wouldn't call that the power run game.
Well, that was like Lynch. Lynch would do that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, with Lynch, it was more like he was taking a sledgehammer to the defense for 3 quarters and then busting out in the fourth.
Well, guys, I think we'll stop right there, and let's just go ahead and go to the 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
All right, it's time for the 2-minute warning. But before we look at our predictions, prognostications, and game balls, let's caption a picture. All right, let's caption this picture that we have here. Punters. What is the 2 punters? I don't know. I'm guessing on that. The 2 punters from last week's game, and they're both talking, so this should be pretty good. Will, caption that picture.
Whew, I'm beat. Yeah, me too. Hey, let's sneak out of here at halftime. Maybe they can get some offense going then.
Yeah, 7-6 tells me that is a good answer. Matt, caption that picture.
This is John Ryan. Hey, look. 69. Yeah, I'm
Woo! 69! Right.
69, dudes.
Jason, caption that picture.
Well, I kind of went off the board here. Because I didn't see the game.
Sure.
And you just told me they were the punters.
Yeah.
So my caption for the picture was, punters make the best gay lovers.
That looks amazing.
Is that true? Do they?
I don't know, but okay. They're standing there 69, and it could be what's on their mind.
That's true.
It's like some Game of Thrones level foreshadowing going on.
Dennis, just to clarify, I do know this answer, and tight ends make far better gay lovers. Just saying.
Well said. Dustin, capture that picture.
In case you haven't noticed, our show is very juvenile.
All right. That's the best one we've ever
Oh
had.
dear.
Mike, capture that picture.
Okay. Yeah, you won the game, but which one of us threw a TD in the championship game? A?
Yeah, right?
It's beef.
Canadian
Ooh.
thing.
Can I confess
Dropping
to you
the
guys?
A-bomb.
I'm going to confess to you guys, I swear to God, I didn't know that they were 69 until like today when I looked at the picture and I said it to Jason. I went, oh my God, there's 69 together. All right.
Oh, really?
I swear to you. Okay.
I didn't notice either.
So my caption is this. This is Ryan talking. Yeah, the way this season is going, they're going to put a big old poster of me on the side of the stadium next year.
That's your Canadian accent.
Hey. Oh,
Hey.
Hey. The way this season's going, Hoser, they're gonna plaster a poster of me on the side of the stadium next year.
Hey.
You betcha.
Well,
What's
it's
that on
better
the
than
boot?
his French accent.
Yeah. And Matt,
Oh, don't
Mike,
start him.
Mike, finish this up.
I got one more. As you know, John Ryan's wife is a comedian.
Yes.
Take my O-line, please.
Ah,
Can I just say, though, I would love to have their O-line. They did some good blocking. That was some good work.
They did better than
Yeah.
They did
better.
They did all right.
I like Ibushi at right guard.
Yeah,
I think I saw that Mariota dropped back 37 times and got rushed twice. I think I want to say is what I saw.
Yeah.
So
what I saw.
that's some good offensive line work.
I think we saw the other ones, but that's all right. All right, let's look at our scores. First off, Jose and Tom said the Seahawks would get 27 points. They got 3 points each. Closest score, Matt, 13-17, picking the Titans. He gets a point. I hope you're happy. Prognostications, Dustin and Moses both called for 3 TD passes from Wilson. We each get 3 points. Also, Jose said earlier in the week, Ibushi would start, and he said it like Monday. So I gave it to him because that was something at the time that wasn't known. And Mike said that Carson would score a touchdown. Indeed, he did. Game ball.
I nearly got my prognostication.
You
if it
nearly
weren't for
did.
That penalty.
That's right, but you got a penalty.
I'm glad I didn't.
Game ball. I gave it to Baldwin. 10 catches, a touchdown.
Yeah.
Tom, and then Wilson, because he did come back and have some big numbers. So Dustin and I get a point there. The over and under was an over. Tom and I get a point, which means individual scores this week. Jose 6, Tom 5, me 5, Dustin 4, Mike 3, Matt 1. After week 3, Mike and Dustin tied at 12.
Woohoo!
Matt, Moses, and Jose tied at 7. Tom at 6. Mark Titanier at 3. Will at 3. And Little Mo and Statsman Mark each have a point. Guess what? After 3 weeks, guys, Team 12, 29. Team Posse, 30. We're still up by a point.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Wow.
We have plenty of time
Congratulations.
to blow that.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of blowing, let's blow into halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime!
All right, so much more show. Can the Seahawks crush a wounded foe? Will the Colts pull the upset of all upsets? Well, Andrew Luck, thank God for his injury. All these answers and more just around the corner. But first, another thrilling edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia coming up next.
Hi, I'm Rosette, and you're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
Of the world!
The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Will, Matt, Mike, and Dustin, and here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points.
If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my two charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, gentlemen, you know the rules. In one wild card tonight, you can always ask the kids once per round, but you can ask Jason every question. In fact, I'm going to have Jason give his expertise to all of these questions free of charge, so you can take his answer or not. The topic is obviously Colts and Seahawks, and there are 3 questions about the Colts and Seahawks and 1 question about Indianapolis. So that will throw things off a little bit. Mike, what would you like, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Number 2, please.
Mike goes with number 2. Matt?
Number 3.
Will, 1 or 4?
1.
And that leaves Dustin with 4.
That worked out well.
It did. All right, here we go. The first question is actually an Indianapolis question, Will. You've been getting a lot of these recently.
Questions about Indianapolis?
Yeah, or as I call it, India no place. All right, here we go. The question is this, Will, what popular song was written by an Indianapolis native? What song was written by an Indianapolis native? God Bless America, Happy Birthday, or Take Me Out to the Ball Game? One of those songs was written by a person from Indianapolis. God Bless America, Happy Birthday, or Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Dance!
Jason, help a brother out here.
Yeah, Jason, what you got, man?
Man, I have no idea. I grew up in rural Indiana, about 70 miles west of Indianapolis, so I am no help with this.
Yeah,
But
they don't allow music there, so.
I don't think it's Take Me Out to the Ball Game. So if I was going to eliminate one, I'd eliminate that one. And I think God Bless America was probably before. By elimination, I would pick the other one, but I have no guarantees.
He says Happy Birthday. You can also ask the kids, you know.
Yeah, I'll save that for when I get stuck with the Indianapolis question in round 2. What the hell? Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to me, he says. All right, you said happy birthday. And the kids. Mosette said, God Bless America. And Little Mo said, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. But you went with happy birthday. Now, it was Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Take Me Out to the Ball Game was actually written by an Indianapolis native, believe it or not. Crazy.
And that was?
I don't know who it was. It was Phil Jimmonson. Okay.
Love that guy.
Junior.
Love that guy.
Bob Jackass. Okay.
Michael Hunt. Number 2, Mike. Are you ready?
Hey. I think I've been insulted.
All right, Mike. Here you go. How many times did the Seattle Seahawks play the Baltimore Colts? 0, 1, or 2. How many times did the Seahawks play the Baltimore Colts? 0, 1, or 2.
I'm going to phone a friend of me. Jason?
Jason?
Okay, so the Colts moved to Indianapolis in 1984, and I believe the Seahawks started in the late 70s. Is that correct?
Yes.
76, yeah.
Yes.
So,
7
over those
years.
7 years, I would think they probably only played once.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's
it's
going
been
for once.
It's been a long time since we played Tennessee. I'm going to go with once.
He's going with once for the Baltimore Colts.
I got a feeling it's twice, but I'll go with 1.
Mosette said 0, and Little Mo said twice. You said once.
I knew it!
It was twice.
I knew it was twice.
77 and 78, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, 2 years in a row?
2 years in a row, yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
I know.
Did they ever
That's
play
stupid.
at Baltimore, or were they both in Seattle?
You know what I forgot to think about was that they were both in the AFC at the time.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
what
they were.
screwed me up there. I guess
That's
I really wasn't
true.
thinking about that part of it, so my bad.
It screwed me up because I had no idea whatsoever. Matt,
Yes.
the first time the Seahawks played the Baltimore Colts, that would have been 77, by the way. How many interceptions did Jim Zorn throw? 3, 4, or 5? How many INTs for Jim Zorn against the Baltimore Colts?
I think I can guess how that game went.
Before I was born.
Jason, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, considering the game was the year I was born, I don't know how much help I was going to be.
3, 4, or 5? What do you
But, man, I think you'd pull the quarterback before 5 picks, but for some reason, it seems so unlogical that I would pick 5.
5 is unlogical.
And that was the one I was going to pick, so 5.
Oh! Wow, really?
Look at that teamwork.
Little kindred spirit across the ocean here. You said 5. Little Mo said 4. Mosette said 3. Yeah,
Oh.
4. It was 4. You're right. You probably pull them before 5, but
You didn't tell me these damn questions were going to be Baltimore Colts questions.
I said
Yeah,
Colts. I said Colts. Well, the next round's more Indianapolis Colts. All right, Dustin.
Yeah.
Last time the Seahawks played the Colts in Baltimore, not in Baltimore. Let me rephrase this. Last time the Seahawks played the Baltimore Colts, who scored 2 touchdowns for the Seahawks? Steve Largent, David Sims, or Sherman Smith? Who did 2 touchdowns? Steve Largent, David Sims, or Sherman Smith? Jason, what do you think?
Well, hell, I don't know. There's some Seattle players. The obvious answer would be Largent, so I'm going to take I wouldn't guess that. So I'd pick one of the other 2 fellas there.
Justin, he says pick the other 2. What do you got?
All right, we'll rule out Largent. Who are the other 2 again? One more time.
Steve Largent, David Sims, or Sherman Smith?
I'll go Sims.
Pick Sims. All right. Mosette said Sims. Little Mo said Sherman Smith. Wait a minute.
That's a dramatic pause right there.
That's a pause for... You got it! Sims, 2 touchdowns. Who knew?
Nice.
Dustin's on the board. That means Dustin gets to pick first. Dustin! 5, 6, 7, 8.
8.
Dustin's going to take a little break. Mike, 5, 6, 7.
7, please.
Matt, 5, 6.
5, please.
Will, 6.
9.
All right, Matt.
Mm.
How many times have the Indianapolis Colts played the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle? How many times have the Indianapolis Colts been to Seattle? 0, 1, or 2? How many times have the Indianapolis Colts been to Seattle to play the Seahawks?
What was the answer? What was the question? What was the answers again?
0, 1, or 2. Jason, what are your thoughts here?
Well, I'm certain that it's been at least 1. And again, because I think that they were, I can't remember what year Seattle moved to the NFC, but I would go out on a limb here and say 2. But I know it's not 0.
All right, Matt.
I'll go with 2.
Matt will go with 2. And so did... No, Lil Mo Mosette said 0. But you said 2. Yes! Matt. Well done,
1993 and 2005.
Wow. Show off.
About that.
Not really. It didn't give me anything.
All right, well, let's see if you get this one. How fast did the first Indianapolis 500
I
winner
knew it.
travel? In 1911, what was his average speed? 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, or 75 miles an hour? I think that's 4 in a row for you, by the way.
Pretty
60,
much.
70, or 75. You know that, Jason?
Apparently not.
Apparently Jason says no.
No, I got it.
Oh, you know it.
Oh, yeah. If I don't know this, I'll be shocked.
Will. Oh, yeah. Right. 'Cause
Well,
I failed to mention. Jason, tell him why you know that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I enjoy the history of the Motor Speedway, and the
Yeah,
family that owns it still resides in Terre Haute.
But you had some connections, did you not? In racing?
Well, yeah, many different connections in racing. The dirt track racing here that kind of feeds up into all the professional racing is very big in central Indiana. So I've got to meet several race car drivers over the years, Mario Andretti, Tony Stewart. It's, kind of surreal. We've had several years of having garage passes on race day, so it's a good deal. But I believe the speed was 75 miles an hour, and that's kind of what they were shooting for as a minimum.
Well,
I'm hoping that they didn't institute that after the first race, but I'm certain that's what their goal was.
Well,
sounds like an expert.
I'll go with Jason on this one.
He's going to go with Jason on this one. Mosette said 75. Of course, she's a speed demon. Well, Mo said 70. Was there ever an 8 out?
Nice.
Nope.
Goes on the board. Mike!
Yes, sir.
Oh, this name I'm going to try to say without vomiting. Okay, the first time the Seahawks played the Indianapolis Colts in Seattle, how many times did they sack Jeff George?
Hey, Jeff George!
How many times did they sack Jeff George? 3, 4, or 5? Jason, what are your thoughts there?
Not enough to end his miserable career.
That's what Mrs. Moses said. I was giving the kids a question, and when I said that, Mrs. Moses looked at me and said, no number is big enough to sack Jeff George. And I agree with her.
What year was that?
Don't have the year. Sorry.
Well, Jeff George held on to the ball so long, trying to throw it 100 yards every time.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's a high number. My gut instinct says 5, but I might be inclined to pick 4.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 4 too.
Mike's going to go with 4.
The last time I picked the middle one, I got it wrong, so I'm going to go with the red-black thing here.
Little Mo said 3. Mosette said 4. You all said 4. Yeah, it's 4.
Yay!
Wow, look at this.
All right, Jason.
Mike's on the board. Dustin.
Yeah.
Can take the lead here. Last time the Seahawks played the Colts in Seattle, who had the most receiving yards for the Seahawks? Was it Darrell Jackson, Joe Jaravicius, or Jeremy Stevens?
No.
Who had the most? And that was a 28-13 win in 2013. No, 5.
2005.
Who had the most receiving yards? Darrell Jackson, Joe Jaravicius, he's delicious, or Jeremy Stevens?
Oh, no.
Delicious
I think I did this a
Jaravicius.
couple weeks ago, too, because I just wanted to give him some love, but I'm going to go with Mr. Hope Solo.
Hope Solo, Jeremy Stevens. You got a horse in this race, Jason?
Not really, but I seem to remember Stevens having a big game against the Colts. But I also thought I think Joe Jaravicius had a big game that game. So
yeah,
yeah,
he's gonna go with Stevens. So he's kind of going with you. Mosette, Darrell Jackson, Little Mo, Joe Jaravicius, who's delicious. You said Jeremy Stevens. Yes, Jeremy.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
All right.
Damn it.
Gentlemen, you cannot ask Jason a question on this. I will ask for his answer afterwards, but you know what time it is? It's
about
time.
6:57 in Seattle.
It's time for the final
3 a.m.
question. All right, here we go. Final question is the number high-low. Whoever's closest without going over gets 2 points and is 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime champion for the show. If you're all over, then the one closest. The order will go. We'll go Will, Matt, Mike, and Dustin. That's the order.
As it should be.
As it should be. Somebody's going to get prices right. I can already tell. Here we go. The question is about the last time the Colts played the Seahawks in Seattle, 2005. And the question is, Will, how many rushing yards did Sean Alexander have in that game against the Colts? How many rushing yards did Sean Alexander have against the Colts in 2005 when they played the Seahawks in Seattle?
153.
All right, 153. Matt.
139.
139. Mike.
Okay, that was Sean Alexander, you said, in Seattle?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to go with 50.
You're going 50.
50, yeah, I'm going to be the low man on the total.
Dustin.
Yeah.
153, 139, 50.
Well, I already knew the answer, as did one of the other people, so I'm not going to bother.
What do you mean? Who knew the answer?
I don't want to give the surprise away, but somebody nailed it.
How do you know someone nailed it? Are you guys Googling?
No, but I knew we were playing the Colts, and I was studying.
Oh!
Wow!
So was, can I just say, so was I.
God, you guys must not have a life. Jiminy Christmas,
No
studying
doubt,
for
right?
trivia?
Well, I do. I got it wrong.
Right?
I was in the OR this week at work, so I had a lot of time on my hands.
I'm going to have to get a little bit trickier with my questioning, apparently.
It's always the same.
Well, okay, the answer is, without much fanfare, 139.
All right, how many carries did he have, wise guy?
139, yeah. Matt got it on the button, yay.
Let me just order my trophy. Thank you very much.
Big freaking deal.
See, now, if I had studied, I would have said 140 instead.
Right.
If I would have studied, I would have taken a gun to my head, because I tell
If
you...
anyone listening at home, right, if you want to try and get ahead in this, all you got to do is if you listen back, and you should listen back to all our shows, all of them, you will hear that Moses has a very set, definite way of doing this now.
Yes.
Check
Where's
the rushing yards, check the average point score, check the...
What I'm going to do for the next one, is going to be attendance. But what I'm going to do for the next one, instead of giving you a final question, I'm just going to kneel down the whole time.
Oh,
The third quarter.
That has less of an appeal on a podcast, just saying.
The way I'm being treated. Anyway, another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning, and cheating edition of the Halftime Trivia.
What did Matt join the Patriots?
We'll be back with the second half of the show, maybe. After a reading by the Reverend Moses, Sex Pistols take us out.
And now it's time for a reading of Seahawk Positivity with the Reverend Moses.
Yes, this is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity, a reading from the book of the 2017 NFL season, chapter 4, verses 3 to 12. For we do then return home, for there is much left to be done. We are then approached by those with horseshoes upon their heads. They are from the land of race cars and basketballs. They rise from their cornfields and intend to defeat us, but we stand strong in our land. We do raise up and make a deafening noise, and they do then fall hard upon the ground of the 12. There they will find only pain and defeat, for they shall return to Hoosier land, broken and beaten. This is the word, my brethren. Go out and spread the good word of Seahawk Positivity. Praise Largent, praise Cortez, praise Walter Jones, praise Easley. Go Hawks and give Pete a chance.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Hey, welcome to the third quarter of episode 512 of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. You know, as a public service to our listeners, sometimes we offer some useful advice. In this episode, we would like to offer some useful advice on how you can find out if you or someone you know may be or is becoming an actual Colts fan. So the 12-Man Fan Jam Show proudly presents How to Tell If You're an Indianapolis Colt Fan. And Jason, you might want to listen to this to be sure that you hit some of this criteria. Here we go. How to tell if you're these are always just solid too. So, get ready for it. Yeah,
Quite accurate.
Best part of the freaking show. Here we go. How to tell if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan. If you think an NFL team basically consists of one player, you might be an Indianapolis Colts fan.
Who doesn't necessarily have to play since 2012.
Oh. If you think an NFL team basically... Oh, well, no, I already did that one. If your stadium looks like a big old barn, you might be an Indianapolis Colts fan. It does. If you're really just honestly waiting for basketball season to start,
chances are you might consider being an Indianapolis Colts fan. If you spend the Indianapolis 500 weekend in and out of an alcoholic coma in an RV surrounded by race cars, you might indeed be an Indianapolis fan.
Wait, I do that every weekend.
And finally, the best way to tell if you're an Indianapolis fan, if you pack up and move out of town in the middle of the night, you might be an Indianapolis
That's cold.
Colts fan.
That's cold.
Very good.
That was a little cold. Hopefully we'll see in the weather how cold it's going to be right now. Let's see how healthy these teams are going to be by turning to our Dr. Dustin. Dr. Dustin with the 12-Man Fan Jam Show injury report. Tell us the news.
Doctor, give me the news.
All right, yeah, so this is going to be a little bit different, and sorry to put Jason on the spot because I was going to talk to him about this in between quarters and forgot. But I'm going to talk about the Seahawks, and then I was going to say who's injured with the Colts, and then ask Jason what he thinks about that, if that's okay with everybody.
That's fine.
I like it.
All right, good deal. All right, so with Seattle, CJ Prosise, ankle injury, keeps playing coy about it. I don't think he's going to play. Yeah, sounds like he's not going to be in there, and we might see a little J.D. McKissick this week, which might not be a bad thing.
A little J.D. is not bad.
Yeah, Dewey McDonald out for the season, ACL injury. Too bad. Wish the best for him. And then Doug Baldwin's got a groin injury. He's going to be a game time decision. I think that's the biggest news for the Seahawks is we might not have Doug Baldwin. Yep. As far as the Colts go, we have Quincy Wilson, who's a cornerback, one of the rookies, I believe. How big of a loss is that for you guys, Jason?
It's significant. I think they've just put the rookies out in the secondary to get them some experience because we're so inept in that area that it's like you'd rather put the young guys out there and have them learn by fire in that position.
Yeah.
And so not having him out there is really it's not good. He did not do well. His first game looked much better. The second game, and of course, was out last week. I'm hoping to see him back out there, but I'm not optimistic.
And then again, what was his injury?
Hell, I don't know.
Okay, cool. I read the article. They didn't mention injury. They just said he wasn't playing, so I didn't know either. So,
I think he hurt his dick fur.
probably what it was.
Oh, dear.
All right. We all know Andrew Luck is out. Andrew's not playing. That's a huge thing for them. Ryan Kelly, still not coming back from his foot surgery. Who's the backup? Do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Deshaun Bond is an undrafted free agent who has really showed himself to be very well. I say credit to Chris Ballard or whoever on the scouting staff made that find. He's probably been a pleasant surprise along our offensive line. And even when Kelly comes back, if we continue to struggle, they may move him out to guard.
Wow.
Nice.
Pleasant surprise on the offensive line. I wonder what that feels like.
All right. And then last one here for the Colts, Vontae Davis. He's returning. How big is that for the Colts, do you think?
Well, especially if Wilson doesn't play, that'll be especially big. I kind of thought going into the year that you would see Vontae Davis and Quincy Wilson be the number 1 and number 2 starters. And just some of the things they've tried on the back end of the defense hasn't made sense. Moving T.J. Green to corner when he couldn't play safety effectively, I thought was a terrible idea, and it's proven to be so. And then also moving Darius Butler from slot corner to safety, that still doesn't make sense because it seems like we're always getting killed in the slot. So I don't know whether that's a coaching issue or what, but I'm glad to have Vontae back on the field this week.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate your help with that. That is
all I
got for the injuries.
That was awesome. Thanks, guys. And now, of course, we turn to take a look at what the weather and fashion is going to be for the game by turning to a guy living in Europe. Yes, it's time for the 12-Man Fan Jam Show weather report and fashion report with Matt from merry old England. Oh, Matt.
It's raining man.
Yes, thank you, Moses. Now, I found out something astonishing this week. Do you know why the US National Weather Service is simply called the US National Weather Service and not like in Canada where it's called the Meteorological Service of Canada, or over here we have the UK Meteorological Office? Do you know why it's just called the US National Weather Service?
I wish I did, but I don't.
Meteorological?
Apparently, it's because Americans couldn't spell meteorological. I just think that's astonishing, really.
Yeah.
How do you get your weather from people who can't even spell? Anyway, I digress. As this week's game is in Seattle, I thought the easiest way to sort out the weather was to pin different weather symbols to a dartboard, blindfold myself, and throw darts at the board, hitting the symbols and therefore getting the forecast. So this week's weather will be broken vase, dart in the wall with a chance of harpooned canary. Or in metric, that's clear spells with showers and temperatures of 15 degrees centigrade. Now, turning towards what to wear at this upcoming game, it's been many years since the Colts came to town, so it is important to make them feel at home. The best way to achieve this is to come dressed as a head of corn, or turn up to the game in a tractor, which you drive really fast as fast as you can whilst just turning left, and constantly ask them the question, Indiana University or Purdue? Also, it's worth noting that apparently it's illegal to purchase alcohol in Indiana on Sundays, so I would get to the bars early, folks, before these stone-cold sober, God-fearing Hoosiers steamroll themselves up to the front and drink every drop of liquor available before returning back home as hungover loser Hoosiers.
Woo!
If you're asking me, what would I wear? Well, I would go as a Hooters server with optional roller skates. Only because I like the colour orange, and Hooters sounds a little bit like Hoosiers, and I haven't had these roller skates on since the early 1980s. And I'm ready to roll, people. That being said, it looks like it's going to be perfect Seahawks weather. Moses, back over to you.
I like it.
Oh, my goodness. Kids, the weather, the fashion, the injuries. We got it all. Now let's get to the important part of the show. Will the Seahawks win this game if what?
They can actually score a touchdown earlier than the last minute of the second quarter and keep going from there.
All right. Mike, the Seahawks win this game if what?
If the offense stays on the field more than 3 downs and the defense doesn't have a bunch of penalties.
Good. Dustin, the Seahawks win this game if what?
They can just stay focused and rally. That's it. That's their problem is they cannot stay focused.
Matt, Seahawks win
if both sides of our game play at the same level.
And then Jason, the Colts win this game if what?
Oh dear God!
Mount Rainier erupts and there's no actual game.
You're not Jason. Stop that.
I not to put it all on the shoulders of Jacoby Brissett, but it's like, how much more does he know the playbook? And so I think if the Colts make, I'm going to say 5 plays of 30 yards or more, they win the game.
All right. Okay, that's a good pick. And that kind of segues, before I end the third quarter, I have a question. We have a undrafted free agent center. We have a quarterback who's been with his team for 4 weeks. Is that right, Jason? 4 weeks?
You got it.
Okay. And he's never really taken snaps on the road in a game like this, especially. And
Talk about a bandwagon player.
And you have a bunch of, as Jacoby said himself, drunken loud 12s on national television. So they're going to be extra loud, extra rowdy. They're expecting to win, so it's going to be pretty crazy. This team over here, I heard on the radio, and Jason, you correct me if I'm wrong, most false starts in the NFL so far with 7.
Ooh.
Oh God, probably.
Yeah.
The false starts and the neutral zone infractions are just killing me.
So as a bonus, before we go to the fourth quarter, I will ask all of you, what do you think the magic number is for false starts / delay of games for the Colts in this game? False start / delay games. Dustin.
I have one question about that. Do timeouts at 1 second count on the clock?
I'm going to say no.
All right, I'll say 5 then.
Jason?
3.
Mike?
I'll go with 4.
Matt, you can't look this up.
0.
0?
Mm-hmm.
Will?
3.
Okay, I was going to say 4 with Mike. Mike and I know what we're talking about, so we'll just go with that. All right. That was a very, very productive third quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
All right, gentlemen. We
done all we can do. Now it's time to take that info and other info that we have and make our Seahawks Colts game predictions. You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Why not?
And now, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show proudly presents Statsman Mark's Remarks.
Hey everybody, this is the Statsman with his remarks concerning the upcoming Sunday night game. We got a Colts team that nobody could imagine. Well, actually, maybe a lot of us could imagine that there would be drama, and Andrew Luck, and he's not playing, and they have Cody Bissett, did play well a week ago, and showed some stuff. So, you know what? Regardless of what's going on with that team, Seattle cannot afford to take anybody lightly. We should be able to smother this team. We are due to put things together and to have some kind of rhythm offensively. Just move the chains in the beginning. If nothing else, win the field position battle if we're not putting up points. But we should be able to score. Defensively, we should be absolutely to smother the Colts. Frank Gore, God bless him, 34 years old. We should be able to contain him. It all adds up to a Seahawk win. I think we will take this 33-13. I think Russell Wilson's going to have 3 touchdowns in the air and over 300 yards passing. And to me, it's a simple game ball to RW.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Oh, it is time for the fourth and final quarter of this episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
In this quarter, we are going to make our predictions, our prognostications, and of course, our game balls. Let's take a quick look at the numbers. Seahawks, 13-point favorites at home against the Colts. Our over and under is 41.5. Remember, these numbers have been presented for entertainment purposes only. The 12-Man Fan Jam Show does not endorse betting or anything at any time. And if you do, please, please do not take anything you hear on this show seriously ever. Okay.
Let it ride! Woo!
Yeah, woo! Now our picks. Let's start with Team 12. Jose. Score 31-13. Prognostication, we get 3 turnovers. Game ball, Kobe Bryant. Just kidding. Don't know if you saw that clip from Jeopardy where nobody knows anything about football. But seriously, game ball to Russell Wilson with 3 touchdowns, and my undefeated streak in Seattle will continue. That's what he's hoping. All right. Tom. 27-10 Seahawks. T.Y. Hilton will have less than 50 yards receiving, and game ball to Lacey.
Ooh.
Little Mo, 35-6. Colts only get field goals. That's his prognostication. And Carson gets a game ball. And Mark, Ty, Turner, 17-3 Hawks. Game ball to Earl Thomas. The defense, angry about last week's disaster, shuts down the Colts under 150 total yards. Wow. Mike Pascale, do you want me to tell it or you want to tell it?
You go ahead. I forgot.
All right. Seahawks 31-17. Game ball to Carson. And your prognostication is Carson will have 100 yards rushing. All right.
That's it.
Team Posse. Statsman Mark said 33-13. 3 touchdowns for Wilson. Game ball to Wilson. Will.
Where?
There.
Oh, okay.
What you got?
Okay, I'm
Hey,
saying...
wait. Guys, a question. Are you going to the game?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to be the drunk 12 or the loud 12? Because I know Jacoby has said that they're all going to be drunk and loud out there, which I think is pretty funny. And then they put a picture up of Cannonball, which is even funnier.
Yeah,
the
PFT article, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a difference?
I am going to be the loud 12.
You're going to be the loud 12. Yeah. He did say that. Who asked that? Dustin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
he
there really a difference? You can't be drunk and loud?
Well, you
They're
can.
They're
but-
going to be partying all day, and so they're going to be drunk and they're going to be loud. And he's, I just sat there and went, yeah, you're probably right.
Your point is?
Yeah, really. All right, Will, what you got?
I have Seahawks 27, Colts 16. I
Okay.
think with Baldwin a little banged up that we really need Jimmy Graham to step up, and he's going to with 2 touchdowns, and I give Graham my game ball.
Ooh. Feed the beast. I will be screaming in my room, in my house when he does that. Dustin!
Yeah.
Which one are you? You're loud, aren't you?
That's what well, I'm both actually. But
Yeah.
most of the time.
All right. What you got?
Especially on this show.
Yeah, I know that.
But I'm going to say the Seahawks are going to win. This is the first time of the year they're going to go over the 30-point mark for sure.
For sure.
They show
sure.
up well on Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football. They play well in prime time.
They do.
They had a bad showing last week, and they're ready to make up for it. So I'm going to say they're going to score 35 points.
Okay.
And the Colts are going to have probably closer to 13, I want to say.
All right. You just did.
Yep, I did say that.
You did say that.
Right. Game ball, I'm going to give to Tyler Lockett. I think he's going to step up big. And
All
then
right.
can prognostication be a player's going to play that doesn't look like it's going to play? Does that count?
Like who?
I was going to say Baldwin's actually going to be in there and play.
Yeah, he's questionable. That's
We'll give it to him.
50-50.
We'll give it to him.
Well, okay, so if people say no, I'll say Eddie Lacy will score a touchdown, which
Now,
is way out
see,
there.
what you could say, Dustin, is that Baldwin will play and he will score a touchdown. That would be a prognostication.
Oh, okay.
That works.
Baldwin TD. Is that good enough? Yeah, Baldwin
Sure.
TD. Okay.
Yeah, that works.
Then, there you go. Well done. Matt,
Yes.
how are you?
Well, I'm all right. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. Matt's a fantastic cook, by the way. He's always cooking like the most amazing things.
I'm going through my
Walter
American
White at the
phase.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing my American phase at the moment. I've got maple syrup cake with pecan and all sorts of things going on.
Unbelievable. He's gonna break off and do his own cooking show on YouTube. The British Chef. No one will watch it.
No one will care.
Oh, sorry. I had the kids.
Nobody
cheering on it.
cares.
Because Ramsey will cock block it, that's why.
All right, Matt. What do you got?
I think it's going to be Seattle Seahawks 34, Colts 3.
Ooh, okay.
Wow.
I think the game ball is going to go to Russell Wilson because I think he is about to just have, prove that he probably should have been the first round pick of the 2012 draft.
Ooh, ouch.
And I think Wilson will get 4 passing touchdowns.
Wow.
Hope you're right.
All right. That leads us to Jason. Jason, thanks so much for being on the show. This has been awesome.
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate it.
Well, you guys all suck.
You're just now figuring that out?
That's why people like Matt, though.
My
Yes.
goodness.
We're drunk
Makes
and
me
loud.
popular.
So, as much as it pains me, I wasn't really reflecting on Seattle playing well in prime time.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Colts are getting better every week. I think Seattle's going to win there at home. My first inclination was 27-20. But I think the prediction on this is I think T.Y. Hilton's going for 150.
Woo. Okay.
Ooh, all right.
I think he's going to
Caused us problems last time.
put Sherman in his place. And, he really felt bad after the first game, came back with a really strong game last week. And I expect more out of the same out of T.Y. Hilton. If he wants to be considered one of the top 5 receivers in the league, he's got to start delivering every week.
I agree there.
Will he raise his leg in the end zone if he scores?
No, but he will raise his hands out to the side for a T and up for a Y. And
Yes, he will.
Yeah.
Is
All
he
right, cool.
is he going to be your game ball then? I would imagine.
well, I mean, game ball for the Colts, yes. But if I was going to pick a game ball for the game, it's tough not to go with Russell Wilson. I'm not as familiar with anybody other than Sherman and Earl Thomas on the defensive side, Michael Bennett.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about Jimmy Graham. It seems like tight ends just kill us
Mhm.
a lot of the time. So that would be a logical selection there. But I'm so much happier with our defense this year than really in the past 5 years. We've got a long way to go, but
Yeah.
at least we're trending in the right direction on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. Well, now it's my turn. And I know what you're thinking. Moses, this week must be especially stressful for you. And, well, it is. I mean, living in Colt land, there's nothing better for me than to have the Seahawks completely destroy the Colts on national television. Flashback to 2013, Seahawks at Indy. You saw the picture. Little Mo was there. It's his first live Seahawks game, and, of course, they lose. Little Mo's inconsolable, but that's okay because we traded a loss that year in September for a win in February. But no trading this year. And no, gee, we barely won this week either. I want the Colts throttled. I want their offense grounded. I want their defense run over. I want the Colts treated like Trump at a National Organization for Women rally. Tear them apart. Oh, sorry.
Whoa.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get the Secret Service on our ass.
Yeah, I got back off. Hey,
Were we supposed to take a knee at that point?
no. Oh, here we go. Watch my game ball, Jimmy Graham. Destroy the Colt defense like a cat on catnip. Watch the defense get a pick 6. That's my prognostication. And watch Seahawks give me reason to face the Colt faithful Monday morning as they dismantle the Colts by a score of Seattle Seahawks 34, Indianapolis Colts 10. Book it.
I like it.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What an amazing show we had. But it is time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man Fan Jam show to a sad close. And we're glad you decided to waste some time with us. We certainly hope you laughed a little, and maybe, just maybe, you learned a little something along the way. What did we learn during this show? Well, we learned that Dustin went to Army, not college.
True.
We also learned that his wife knows emojis.
Very well.
We learned a little JD isn't too shabby. And we also learned that we all suck. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, Newshound Shadowhawk Wills, that's Man Mark, wherever he may be, Dustin, that's the Beaver, Jason Starr, Mike Pascale, Roger Goodell, Mosette Little Mo, Buddy Hackett, Sheila McRae, Art Carney, good night, everybody, and go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!